Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. As promised, we've been joined by Serita Porter, a fitness supporter. Now, you've seen Serita on Channel 190 in the past. She did a segment when she was showing how exercise can be for everyone. So, we're trying something a little bit new. We're going to talk about Serita. We're going to get a little bit of information about her, but then we're going to tell you a little bit about the exercise program that we've started and why you could benefit from it.
Yes.
Yes. So, Serita, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining.
for having me.
I think we need to just preface it with the reason we look this way.
Oh, yes, because we are sweaty and, we are glistening.
Listening.
Yes, indeed. Because we just finished our weekly ride. So every Saturday at 10:30, of course, we do a ride here at Breaking Barriers Rowing and Fitness. And then after that, we do 15 minutes of strength work. Today, it was a total body workout. It was a ladder. So the focus being, we have cardio on the bike, and then we do some strength work. So that cardio, of course, is definitely working the heart muscle, but then that added resistance is working our skeletal muscles.
And it was hard.
Uncomfortable is what I like.
It was both hard and uncomfortable, which is fine. I mean, you know, that's where change happens.
Exactly. I am like always stressing that I want to make everybody uncomfortable. Why? Because when we do things that our body is used to, it's in its normal rhythm and nothing is happening. It is when we push ourselves to what we call that overload. That's where that uncomfortable feeling or that discomfort takes place, and it's because we're being forced into a new position or having to hold something for an extended period of time, and that's where change takes place.
All right. So let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Tell me about Serita Porter.
Serita Porter is a Chicago native, so born and raised in Chicago. And my background actually is in housing and my first professional career was background in housing and community development. And it's actually, I'm mentioning this because it was very instrumental in my shift towards health. So that housing and community development background, working in banking, doing management of lending activity for large banks in the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area, working on and developing programs for first-time home buyers, unbanked customers, home buyer education, credit counseling, stuff like that, getting them to a place of purchase.
Okay.
And having to manage those numbers for the banks, meaning seeing where we're doing lending, allowed me on a larger scale to look at the neighborhoods where we are assisting customers. And I got turned on to what's called neighborhood concentration and the effects of neighborhood concentration, in that we're helping borrowers, let's say, get into this one particular area or particular areas in the city. But they were concentrated by race, concentrated by income. And so often what I noticed in those areas is that they lacked certain provisions that other communities have. And I thought about the health implications of that. Consider the health implications of not having a grocery store. Like, that's a real thing that happened in one of my territories. Or having a lot of corner stores, the lack of grocery stores, having a lot of like liquor stores and stuff like that. Those have health-related implications. So I actually made a conscious decision to want to change my career focus and look at health. And so I would say in 2013, I made a decision to leave Georgia. So I went from Chicago to Atlanta working in housing and community development, and then made a conscious effort or decision to change my career. In 2013, fall of 2013, I moved here to Delaware, and that was the beginning of my connection with the University of Delaware. Did a graduate program in public policy, with a focus on health policy. I actually looked at a spatial display of the city of Wilmington, looking at food outlets, food access, and overlaid that with race, health, chronic disease, and death. And just traditionally, what I had found was that populations of color tend to experience certain chronic conditions as well as death from those conditions at a higher rate. So that was a Master's of Science in, Master of Arts in Public Policy. Then I wanted to focus on the science behind exercise. I have always been interested and participated and engaged in exercise. My best friend, as a matter of fact, forced me to exercise with him, and I enjoyed the immediate effects of exercise, particularly like sleep, or that I felt better. I had more energy the next day, my mood was better. So that was an attraction to me to exercise. So knowing the science behind exercise, the motivation, what can motivate people to exercise, how to give people specific goals. I did a Master of Science in Health Promotion, along with a graduate certificate in health coaching. Along the way, I have accumulated about 6 specialized group fitness certifications. I wanted to be able to implement that, not just at the University of Delaware. So I enjoy teaching group exercise at the University of Delaware, health coaching, faculty and staff at the University of Delaware. But this connection, I was grateful, what was it, last year? I think it's been a year now.
Yeah,
I've been connected to Breaking Barriers. Wanted to be able to share my passion for exercise, not even looking at the external benefits of exercise, but actually the internal benefits. Before things happen on the outside or manifest on the outside, it happens on the inside. And so I wanted to be able to share that passion with people that look like me, and particularly middle-aged populations as well as elder populations, because we then no longer have like youth, so to speak, on our side. Lifestyle set in with children or with work, and then we have other priorities where we don't get a chance to fit, or we don't make time for whatever reason to fit exercise in, but it's those times where they are important. So this connection to Breaking Barriers is a fantastic thing, and that's really the culmination of Serita Porter, Housing and Community Development, seeing the health effects of housing and neighborhood, the implications of neighborhoods, wanting to focus on health outcomes, death and disease, not just existing, but living a healthy and vibrant life at whatever age you are. And gratefully then being connected here and being able to share that with people that look like me.
One of the funny things when you and I first met, or before I even met you, when Dwayne said, oh, we have this trainer, her name is Serita, I don't know if I went to your Facebook page and I saw that we had a common friend. And I went, yes, Sarah. And I went to my friend and I'm like, what about this Serita person? And she raved about you.
Thank you,
she's
Sarah.
like, she's good people, you're in good hands, you'll be fine. So that was great. But one of the other things, I'm gonna pick up on what you said, in exercising with you over these past few months, your consistent message is, you know, you've got to be able to do things. And I'm going to be straight. You've got to be able to sit on the toilet.
Yes.
You've got to be able to pick up groceries.
Very functional.
And I remember, my nephew is 22 years old, but I remember consciously when my sister was pregnant with him, thinking, we're going to have to pick this baby up out of the car, out of the car seat, carry him, the bag, and groceries in the house. I'm going to have to get stronger.
Exactly.
You know, and I remember very vividly thinking, I'm gonna need to work on that. And that's what you stress. So talk about that a little bit.
Yes, so in this health and fitness industry, oftentimes people see the external and they say, you know, can you help me look like you? But one of the things that I like to note to people is there is this thing of an unhealthy skinny person. And there is this thing as a healthy, stocky person. There is no one body type or shape, but as it relates to exercise, for me, the importance is not just giving people things to do to help their heart muscle or help their skeletal muscle, but to explain the functionality of that. And the one thing that I think most people experience is low back pain. Mm-hmm. And one of the most common reasons for low back pain is that we are rounding our spine when we go to pick something up, which we shouldn't do. Or we're picking up something, when we round, we're picking up something far away from us, which we shouldn't do. So for me, that's a perfect segue for teaching people not only the importance of a squat, but the cues and the way to perform a squat, because it is functional when you pick up your groceries. It is functional when you sit down. It is functional when you are on the toilet. It's functional when you sit in a chair. So even when I sat down in this chair, I made a conscious effort to tuck my tail in line underneath my hip so that my back is not arched, putting strain on my spine, but my spine is in a neutral position, because that adds to a lot of the discomfort that people feel in their low back. When we pick up something, we're using our knees and not our spine to pick something up. Very functional activity and points of reference for people, yes, because it's their activities of daily living. That's what I like to focus on, so that when people are away from me, they hear me in their ear telling them, all right, I'm picking up groceries. Don't use my back to pick up the groceries. Use my legs, bend my knees to pick up the groceries. Or when we're doing curls, I jokingly say this, but it's very real. When we go to the grocery store, we don't want to have to be making constant trips back and forth to the car. We want to be able to pick up all those groceries and walk into the house one time. Like, that's my goal. Like, that's the functionality of doing, curls and things like that, or even overhead press, reaching up into a cabinet. The benefit of stretching your body every day, not just when you exercise, but getting it ready for the day's movement. You've slept, you've slumbered. You want to be able to limber up your body so that it moves throughout the day, because it's not just from picking up heavy things that we can pull something. It's doing our regular day-to-day. If we've not warmed up our body, we can possibly injure ourselves.
So when we started, and we've gone back and forth about where the idea came from.
We have. I think it was your idea.
I think it was you, and then I mentioned that I had seen. But what we're talking about is, this is Breaking Barriers Roaring with Fitness.
Yes.
We have a lot of trainers here.
Yes.
And some of our trainers are extremely intense.
Yes.
And they do a lot of hard stuff that can be intimidating, right?
Yep.
So the thought is, Breaking Barriers Roaring with Fitness it started with growing activities and fitness and health and activity for youth, right?
Yes.
So as you get into these other trainers and they're doing all the time testing stuff, it's like there's this whole middle section that's missing. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So what we do on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays is it's limited capacity within Breaking Barriers.
Yes, indeed.
And also available on Zoom, where we do 30 minutes of exercises with modifications and progression. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Serita does the hard stuff. Shauna does the easy stuff. That's what that means. So I'm going to insert a segment so you can see what we're talking about. But I guess I'll just jump in. So Serita might send me a message during the day that says, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then she'll send me a little video clip that says the real exercise, or the exercise without modifications looks like this. Your version of the exercise looks like that. So while Serita is using like a 94-pound weight, or maybe a 12-pound weight, okay, I'm using a can of black tea. While Serita is standing right, and
Yes.
doing something.
Mhm.
I'm in a seated position doing the exact same
Yes,
thing.
yes.
So, we've had a lot of people, or enough people
Mhm.
join us. And what are your thoughts about what we've been doing?
So I think it's very relevant because, like you mentioned, here at Breaking Barriers Run and Fitness, we've got diversity in terms of training. So we've got trainers that are focused on the athlete. We've got trainers that will focus on high intensity interval training for people of a variety of ages that want that sort of burst of energy, quickness, calorie expenditure. That's fine. My focus is grabbing that population segment that is potentially intimidated by that, or believes that they have to be in a gym to work out. You do not have to be in a gym to work out. You have things in the house that can act as weights or act as resistance along with your body weight. We can do exercises where you're in a seated position, I'm in a standing position, where you're getting the same focus on a potential muscle group. And this is important because, again, that population segment that I'm interested in, middle-aged populations that have a family, it could be like in the interest of time. They don't have time to get in the car, come to the gym, but they got time to go into another room, close the door for 30 minutes and get theirs in, and then go back to whatever it is they have to do. And so those sorts of things are important for me to be able to show people. One, again, you don't have to be in the gym. Two, if you don't have dumbbells, you're still good.
Yeah.
There are a variety of ways to add levels of intensity to activate muscles, not only with heavy weight, but with lightweight or no weight, and where you can experience that activation doing two things: strengthening the heart muscle through cardio, but then having that external or even body weight resistance for our muscles. And I'm just going to say, here's an important thing for me to note. This is important for me not only for males, but for females in particular, because one, osteoporosis, as we age, the bone density decreases. So we need that added resistance to strengthen our muscles. But the reason I love weighted activity, I saw this in myself, I see this at the University of Delaware, and I see it here. Women that are not used to weights, over time, when you get them, hey, let me just try to talk you into this, let me make you uncomfortable, short bouts of work, and then they become comfortable with it. When you know what you're doing, then you become more confident in what you do, but then that confidence shows with that posture. Also, think about it, that posture, that added confidence, we set that up when we set up our exercises. Why? What am I constantly saying? Shoulders up, back, and down, chest is lifted. I'm setting you up for that confidence in not only in that weighted activity, but when you walk out of the door, that you continue to walk with your chest up. That exudes that translates not only here, but outside as well. But then most importantly, it aids sleep. Again, the way that I got connected and hooked on exercise, it was my sleep. Then also seeing the changes in my mental clarity, in my mood during the day, my energy the next day, my restful sleep at night. It translates and it can be experienced by people regardless of age.
Yes.
We got seniors, we got people that are in their 30s, all in the exact same class, doing things with modification variety, all getting the exact same activation in the particular muscle that we're working.
And you'll see when we show the clip, you're familiar with WK in the community. Wendy and Kim join our class,
Yes.
So you've got people that, may not be familiar with exercise,
Right.
but they're coming in, like you said, we're all in the same class,
Yes.
whether it's via Zoom,
Exactly.
because some people are still, for valid reason,
Yes.
uncomfortable about COVID-19.
Yes.
So you can stay in your house and move
Exactly.
your body,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Or you can come here, and when we have our class,
Mhm.
it's just us. Like
Exactly.
right now, it's Saturday afternoon, Breaking Barriers is empty, right?
Right.
When we have our classes on Mondays and Wednesdays in here, everybody gets out.
Exactly.
It's just us and maybe 2 or 3 other people,
Exactly.
but there's plenty of room for
And
us to
we're
spread
spaced out.
out.
Exactly.
So the other thing that I wanted to kind of mention was, like at the beginning of the whole stay-at-home thing,
Yeah.
I noticed that I had started to put on some weight. So back to your point about the way you feel.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought, well, I'm not exercising. I don't know why. I just didn't think it.
Yeah.
So then we started doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Yes.
every morning at 8 a.m.
Yes. Yes.
And then everything started to feel better.
Yes.
And then we had to stop Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yes.
And I had to be disciplined to do something by myself.
Right. Which is often no fun.
But see, that's the thing. For years, I'm talking since high school,
Yeah.
I've always exercised by myself.
You're good.
So I'm like, why is it so hard now for me to do 30 minutes by myself?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is something that can drastically make you feel better.
Yeah.
Different and better.
Yeah.
And whether you're smaller and you've had health issues,
Right.
whether you're larger and you've had no health issues, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'll tell you what, even if you're in a moderately fit zone, Serita can do some damage with a bottle of vinegar. Wasn't that one of the hardest workouts I've ever had? Was in my living room, Zoom with you,
Yes.
and I had a bottle of vinegar and a bottle of detergent, and I could not, like this whole
Right.
thing
Yes.
the next day.
And that's the beauty of being creative, you know, finding things in the home. So I will just tell on Nikki on the air. So we've been working out together for several months now, but Nikki wants to be safe sometimes. And again, my goal is to make you uncomfortable. Why? Because when your body gets used to what it's doing, it's just going through emotion. So I know that Nikki is stronger than what Nikki thinks she is. So then I challenged her one time. She's like, oh, I got 8s or 3s or whatever. It's like, go grab vinegar, detergent, bring something back that's heavier. And we literally did exercise with a gallon jug of vinegar. And Nikki, I think the next day, like referenced, I'm feeling the vinegar.
Yes.
And I'm like, what?
Because that was a Tuesday, and then Wednesday
Yes,
we were in here with
back
Wendy
here.
and Kim, and
Yes.
I was doing the modifications
Yes.
with Miss Wendy,
Yes.
with my little
With the
can of
can
black
of-
beans,
Yep.
and I'm
But
like,
she felt the
the
vinegar.
pain is real and true. This is vinegar. This is what this
Yes.
is.
But let me just say, so Nikki always, and we have these jokes with each other, like the pain. So just to know,
Oh, yeah.
so pain and discomfort. So I'm constantly checking. That's the one thing that I enjoy about my style of teaching. And I think it's just because of the space that I'm in terms of the population that I'm interested in, also because of my age as a middle-aged person. I am interested in making you uncomfortable without pain. So I want pain-free range of motion, but I want discomfort. And there is a big difference. And so because of that, along the way, I am always cueing when we should breathe, inhaling and exhaling. I'm telling you how it should feel, where you should feel it, what you should squeeze, when you should exhale, I'm also, because there's a thing in this industry where we do time under tension, so that there can be more constant activation on the particular muscles. I'm telling you, don't beat me, because I want you to stay in it. I am very cognizant of the range of motion, providing the necessary cues, asking where you feel it, checking in, because that's important. I don't want anyone to be in a class with me, either on Zoom or in person, to feel something and be in pain and say it's discomfort.
Yeah.
There is a big difference. I don't ever want anyone to walk away or be in something with me where they feel pain, not say something, and allow me the opportunity to work with them, work and tweak their posture, their position, or even the exercise, provide a modification to take away that discomfort or to take away that pain, but still having that activation in the muscle group that we're working. That is very important.
Yep. So one of the reasons we're having this conversation is because this is the first one.
Yes.
Here's our plan, right?
Okay.
Our plan is a little fuzzy around the edges, right?
Okay.
But what I want
Mhm.
is I want more people to do this.
Yeah.
I want more
That
people
would
to
be
join us
fantastic.
on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
I want to introduce Wendy and Kim into this conversation
Nice.
to share their experience
Yes.
and destiny. Because we've got the daughter, we've got the mom, we've got the
Yes,
grandma.
3 generations,
Right? 3
yes.
generations. And I want people to feel better.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to be scared.
Yes.
Because we've talked, you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, yes.
I'm coming from, 12 years old,
Mhm.
182 and a half pounds,
Mhm.
to a lifetime of struggle
Sure, yep,
with
yep.
food, exercise,
Exactly.
movement, body image, the whole thing,
Mhm.
to a point where now it's kind of like, it's still an effort,
Yeah.
but I at least know where to go
Yeah.
for help and guidance.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that feel more comfortable going to someone who looks like them
Yes. Yes.
for help and guidance.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's what we want.
Yeah.
So this is the first one.
Sure.
I'm very excited.
Me too.
And we'll share the Zoom information or how to get in touch with Serita. It's $5. That's another
Yes,
thing.
yes,
$5
yes,
per session.
Mhm.
Okay. And we hope to see you, and you'll certainly see more of us
Yes.
on this channel. And
Yes.
Serita, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Yes.
Anytime.
Looking forward. We're going to bring them back forward the way that we did when we were marching. In 3, 2, 1. Ease up. All right, Miss Lindy. We're going to reach up and pull down. Your modification is tap, 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 yep. And if you want to engage your arms, feel free to do so, okay? All right, Miss Kim, if you want to go with me, what we're going to do is reach and pull. Knees going straight up. Elbows pulling down, feeding the knees. Your belly button is pulled in towards your spine. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Keep going. Up, up, down. Yes. Up, down. Come on. Up, down. Yes. Up, down. Yes. 2, 1, let's go. Sit, yes. Turn your toes that was perfect. Yes. Squeeze your feet until you stand up. Bell's about to sound. Let's go. You can slow it down if you want lift, lift, sit. Yes.
Slow down the hand, okay? Let's just push forward the front.
Yes. All right, Miss Kim, I'm going to progress it, okay? I want you to keep doing what you're doing, okay? All right, so I'm going to... I'm going to grab mine. From your seating position, we're going to do curls. What we're going to do, in that seating position, both arms are moving in opposite direction, always working. So bring for me, Miss Wendy, bring your knees, yes. And now open up just slightly, right there. Yep. Now, I want you to turn your wrist down. Just let them down. Let them hang. Now, have your wrist in, curtain. Get that. So I don't want you to flex the wrist. I want you, it's what we call a hammer curl.
There you go.
Yep. So that's where we're going, okay? Here we go. Let it move fluid. One arm's coming up, yes, one arm's coming in. Let's go. So, yep. Traditional bicep curl. Yep. Yes, that's good. Keep your elbow underneath your shoulder, and that's what puts activation on the bicep. 3, 2, now lift them. Let's go. Left turn, right turn. Left turn, yep. Right turn. Driving a big truck. Yes. And stacked on top. Perfect. Yes. Last 10 seconds. Let it go to the other side. Shoulders down away from the ears. Fantastic. Give yourself hugs. Open it. Switch the arm. One time the left arm is on top. Next time the right arm is on top. Perfect. Great job, ladies, as always.